Let's talk about selling a home in Grandville, Michigan. The typical listing here goes pending in about 9 days, one of the fastest clips in West Michigan, and it's the most misread number in this whole conversation. In this brief, comps, days to pending, what buyers want, condition, and timing. Start with where your buyer comes from. Grandville sits about 12 minutes southwest of downtown Grand Rapids, wrapped around a bend in the Grand River, with Interstate 196 running straight through town and US 131 a few minutes east. That freeway access is your listing's biggest feature. Your marketing to city commuters, to lakeshore workers heading east, and to Wyoming and Kentwood buyers stepping up all at once. Here's the number that defines selling here. The typical Grandville listing goes pending in about 9 days. Byron Center, a short drive south down the same US 131 corridor, sits at 31. Same county, same summer, roughly 3.5 times the wait. So let me be blunt, 9 days does not mean anything you list will sell. It means correctly priced homes clear in 9 days, and everything else sits in plain sight right next to them. An overpriced Grandville house doesn't read as ambitious. It reads like something's wrong with it. Which brings us to comps. Priced to what actually closed in the last 90 days, filtered tight. Same square footage band, same era, same street pattern. And watch the district line. Grandville Public Schools reaches past the city, into parts of Walker, Wyoming, and Byron Township on the Kent County side, and into Georgetown, Jamestown, and Tallmadge Townships in Ottawa. A Grandville mailing address, a Grandville school address, and a Grandville city tax bill are 3 different things. Here's the ground you're standing on. Grandville is a city of about 16,000 people. The typical house is valued near $350,000. Listings go pending in roughly 9 days, and downtown Grand Rapids is about 12 minutes out. On price, Grandville runs just above the metro benchmark, about $350,000 against the Kent County median of $335,000. That's a 4% premium, not a luxury premium. Redfin's spring read had Grandville up about 7% year over year against roughly 3% for the county. But that premium pays for convenience. It's not a credit you apply to a tired house. Know what your buyer walked through before your house. Grandville is compact and largely built out, so the new product competing with you is infill and just over the city line. And there's more of it than sellers expect. The Highlands at Rivertown Park, just over the line in Wyoming off Ivanrest, but Grandville Schools and a Grandville mailing address, is finishing its final phase of townhome condos. 3 bedrooms near 1,800 square feet, from the mid-300s. Moxie is putting a mixed-use building called Timber Flats on a downtown parking lot at Fayette and Maple. And Rivertown Crossings is mid-rebuild under new ownership. That's the finish level your buyer just toured. So, what do Grandville buyers pay up for? 5 things, over and over. A roof, furnace, and water heater with real life left. A kitchen and baths touched this decade. A finished lower level with proper egress. A 2-stall garage with room for storage. And a yard and driveway that read as maintained from the street. Hit 4 of the 5, and you list at the top of your comps. Now condition, and here's the Grandville specific part. This is a mature housing stock, mid-century ranches, split levels, and 2-story colonials, with the newer product concentrated toward Rivertown. Your house sells on its mechanicals and its water story. Service the furnace and keep the invoice. Deal with the basement honestly, replace the panel if it's a known problem brand, and put every receipt in one folder. Buyers here aren't afraid of a 1970s house. They're afraid of one with no records. Your pricing conversation isn't only local. Buyers working this southwest corridor cross-shop Grandville against Hudsonville, Jenison, and Wyoming, and you land 1/3 of the 4 on typical home value, roughly $57,000 under Hudsonville, and about $60,000 over Wyoming right next door. That's the context a buyer's agent brings to your kitchen table. Presentation. You don't need a renovation, you need a house that asks the buyer to make 0 decisions. Neutral paint, dated fixtures swapped out, counters cleared, closets thinned by half. Deep clean, then stage the 3 rooms people actually remember. The kitchen, the primary bedroom, the main living space. In a 9-day market, your photographs do most of the selling. Here's where Grandville sellers push back on me. They want to test a higher number for a week, figuring a market this fast lets them come down later. But you get one first weekend, and a price cut in week 2 lands after the buyers who were waiting on a house like yours already wrote on something else. Timing. Michigan homes listed in June sell roughly 19 days faster than the annual average, and West Michigan tracks that curve. But Grandville is going pending in about 9 days regardless. In Kent County is running near 1.2 months of supply, roughly a fifth of a balanced market. The season here is a tailwind, not a strategy. So, here's the playbook I run with Grandville sellers. Price to closed comps inside your own attendance area, not to your neighbor's list price. Spend 2 weeks on mechanicals, paint, and photography before the sign goes in the yard. Go live midweek so your first weekend carries full traffic. Hand every buyer's agent a repair and receipt folder. And if you're past 14 days with no offer, that's price. Grandville sells for exactly what it is. A compact central city on a bend in the Grand River, 12 minutes from downtown, with its retail corridor getting rebuilt around it and a buyer pool that keeps showing up. With rates near 6.5%, that pool is steady rather than frantic. And a steady market rewards the sellers who prepare. Let's set your number and your prep list, then go win the first weekend.